ORC 2020, the new code zero rating. The famous 75% code zero, which has been along the sailing world for a bunch of years,
Exactly,
so without being actually seen by the certificate, so it was not even in the performance curve of the certificate. So provided you are having obviously a bigger asymmetrical. Exactly. So you could have made a 75% code zero, and it was just not appearing in the certificate, but it was actually working quite well in reaching
also,
and also even in very, very light stuff upwind, but very, very light stuff. Now this kind of sail has been penalized quite a bit because now the new limit just for ORC has been set to 85%.
Exactly, we are talking obviously half girth, so medium girth in respect to the foot.
Exactly. So as the sailmaker know, but also the sailors know, this 75% was already a distance which was hard to meet, no? So it was the sail were tend to be unstable, no? Especially before the arrival of the cableless code zero. Now that we reach the perfect shape, obviously the rules are changing. So exactly. So you will have fun. We are talking to you guys in the US, especially the guys from Annapolis. They have chosen the ORC as their primary handicap system, and also the guys in Newport,
which will host the double ORC and IRC rated regatta.
The combined. So it will be fun to see if you can now match really the use of IRC and ORC, because they are instead of coming together
in the opposite way.
Way. So in fact, the 75% code zero is legal under IRC, so it's not seen again in the numbers of the certificate. While in ORC, we made a calculation for a 45-footer.
Exactly, and the results are quite impressive, let's say. So the GPH is decreasing by 1%, more or less, so 5 seconds per mile.
On a 500 second per mile GPH.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, the windward-leeward rating, time on distance, is not also time on time, is not affected by this changement because the coefficient used to calculate the performance of this kind of code zeros are not really affecting the upwind nor downwind part. So the rating for windward-leeward it's not changed.
Stays the same. Exactly.
Anyway, if you are doing long distance or coastal races, which are the races where you actually use this kind of sail, you will be really seen really faster, no?
Exactly, seen really faster, especially because this kind of sail is appearing strongly increasing the performance in the light stuff. As we told before, so I mean light winds, not really upwind, but
through wind angle between 70 and 90, 120.
Exactly, in the very light stuff, and then in a broader angle when it's more windy. But then the sail makes your performance much better in the certificate when the wind is much stronger. So in 16 or 20 knots of wind, you have a peak in 20 knots of wind that has a reason. These are conditions where you normally use a small asymmetrical, like a fractional one, and smaller, no? For sure, not a laminate sail, most probably, no?
Exactly, because probably there is more waves, and you don't want this kind of laminate sail to be up, no? Because every shock will destroy your sail.
Exactly, or risk to destroy your sail. So in the long run, you prefer a nylon sail. And why this peak in this
exactly.
condition?
This is happening probably because this kind of sail is has his coefficients, and the rating of the boat, the performance of the boat is calculated calculating both the coefficient taken from the spinnaker sail, so the spinnaker coefficient,
spinnaker sail,
asymmetrical obviously, and the ones taken from the head sail set flying, which are in reality a little bit tricked, let's say, to they are different when the percentage of the mid-girth changes with the foot. Anyway, this double consideration of the sail probably in the higher winds sees this kind of sail as a spinnaker, and actually the performance of this spinnaker are better than the performance of the big spinnaker with the let's say the powering factors. So the ORC for higher winds just uses the powering factor to calculate the decreased area and the decrease in general also height of the center of effort. But this is done all
just like imagine
the
like
big sail
is in the sheet, no?
Exactly.
The virtual is in the sheet, which is obviously a sail correctly sheeted is more performing than a bigger sail that you need to use not properly because of too much wind, no? So that's why. That's why, and obviously it would be, let's say, better if every sail should be rated inside the certificate and inside the performance of the boat, but actually this is really complicated from the also bureaucratic point of view. So anytime you do a new sail, you must add it to the certificate. Yes,
and then you will always have to redo the same certificate. Also, imagine you order the sail at the last minute and you receive the sail the day before the regatta. No, just maybe it's really similar to a sail you have, so you don't have to try it a lot, and it's really difficult, no? To calculate everything.
Exactly. So, because of these changes, under ORC, we see this kind of sail, this famous 75%, probably is no longer a good sail of choice for a lot of boats. No? We're talking obviously about boats that have asymmetricals on the center line. So being A2, A1, A2, and so on. So this kind of sail is probably not the right sail of choice. So they can think about making a sail similar but fuller, so with a mid-girth at 85 that at this point is not seen on the certificate and doesn't have to be declared. But then you have probably a big spot that is not covered. So especially for the boats that are slow in light winds, then they can be in trouble. So what can be a solution to this? Maybe the solution stays in the flying head sail.
So
head sail set flying.
Head sail set flying. Actually, all the coefficients of the new spinnakers between 75 and 85% mid-girth are extrapolated, are something between the ones of the head sail set flying and the ones of the spinnaker. So actually, it's probably better to do a smaller sail, also to have a less increase of the time on distance, of the GPH, of the performance of the boat, and actually have a sail which performs really better in a wider range of winds, no? So a real
J0, but it is a J0, not properly J0. So it's a very big jib. So because it's the smallest performance, as per the rule. So if you do something smaller, you just pay and you don't get the area.
Exactly.
I mean, the minimum area rated is a triangle made on the
ISP.
ISP, so the mast,
Spinnaker,
so top mast, if you have a top mast generator, and then the TPS, so the foremost part of your bowsprit.
Exactly.
So then, so a triangle made here. So this is the minimum dimension. So, but this is a kind of sail that can be really interesting. So you can put the sail ideally on your Jeep track.
Exactly.
And then use it.
Maybe also a bit to windward, probably.
Yes.
Maybe not really to a bit to windward, but in an upwind.
Yes.
Not really tight upwind, but
yes. For a long
upwind
race.
condition,
Yes.
upwind condition, you could easily think about this.
Under 6 knots, it has a very, very wide application, for
exactly.
sure.
And then, obviously, you can sheet it maybe on the whisker pole, which is now allowed.
Exactly.
Maybe with the jib inside or a staysail, spinnaker staysail inside, which is something which is now allowed.
Or both, or even both of them,
you
if
can
you like.
use as many sails as you want. You no more have the problem of having the clew of the outermost sail being aft of the clew of the innermost sail, etc. So you can put all the sails you have on the boat. You cannot put some spinnakers, some asymmetricals, because this is forbidden. But
your socks,
exactly.
everything you have.
Anything you have, you can put it in front of the mast. And then try to be for, reach tight reaching, or also for faster boats, you can also maybe avoid to have an A3 on board.
Exactly.
Because instead of A3, you just use 2 or 3 sails.
This theory of sails,
exactly.
one after the other. So this can be a good choice. So I mean, the problem is how to cover this range, this wind range, which stays between the beat VMG and the run VMG.
Exactly.
This is the problem, and the old way of covering doesn't work any longer.
Exactly.
In our opinion, not for the numbers. So better probably to stay hidden in the more downwind part and to declare a proper sail for more for upwind, and then use multiple ice sail.
Exactly.
When you open the angle with the wind.
This is obviously if you are not in Newport and you are not racing also in IRC, where the 75% is always there. So
it's always there, and then you can, if you use a whisker pole, then it's seen as a enormous pole, spinnaker pole. So that's a kind of messy, but anyway.
We will see this season how everything works, because actually this kind of thing was treated in the AMG, so in the meeting of ORC, which is held every year, in the any other business part. So
exactly.
The last part,
very last minute
decision taken by the ITC itself, not submitted by any nation. So actually it's a change which has not even been taken in account when they do the new VPP runs to see where the new rules are going for the new year. So they obviously try to minimize the difference every year in GPH. This is not taken in account in this kind of calculus, so there will be for sure a big step in the GPH and in general in the performance of the boat this year in respect to last year. So it will be not really a easy year for the rating, no?
No, not at all. If you have your 75% go zero, you have to declare it. You have to declare it. So that's and it's a little bit painful.
Exactly.
Ciao. Have a nice day.
Ciao.